So let's go through shoulder dystocia now. So when you have a woman who has a shoulder dystocia, we know that shoulder dystocia is a bony problem where the shoulder impacts on the pubic bone. We have helper mnemonic, which helps us through or gives us some manoeuvres to take us through managing the shoulder dystocia. What we do know in practice is that even though we have the helper mnemonic, in some instances, midwives that you work with will probably, rather than taking you through the helper mnemonic from start to finish, will actually go straight in and try and remove the posterior arm first before going through all of the manoeuvres, because we know that removing the posterior arm does actually work. Another thing that we do know too, that in the majority of instances with shoulder dystocia, putting a woman's legs into the McRoberts manoeuvre in 90% of cases will actually resolve the shoulder dystocia for you as well. So we know that there are ways of resolving the shoulder dystocia before we need to go through the helper manoeuvres. But we do teach you the helper mnemonic because in some instances we do need to go through methodically to work our way through. Another way to resolve a shoulder dystocia, if you do actually have a shoulder dystocia occurring, is to just change the woman's position. If she's on her back, maybe flipping her over onto all fours. If she's on all fours, flipping her over onto her back. Sometimes that change in position is just enough to shift that pelvis, shift that position and dislodge that shoulder out from underneath the pubic bone. So with our helper mnemonic, we have H is call for help. So as soon as you realise that you have the turtling sign, that there's got a shoulder dystocia happening, you would call for help. E is evaluate for an episiotomy, and you would evaluate for an episiotomy at a number of times through going through the manoeuvres. You don't always need to cut an episiotomy, but you might need to evaluate, especially when you're going into the into manoeuvres. You may need to cut an episiotomy to give you a little bit more space. L is legs into McRoberts, so bringing the knees up to the nipples for McRoberts manoeuvre. P is your suprapubic pressure, using the heel of your hand to apply suprapubic pressure onto the shoulder to see if you can dislodge it from underneath the pubic bone. E is for your enter manoeuvres. So suprapubic pressure is Rubens 1, enter manoeuvres you've got Rubens 2, and then you have your wood screw and reverse wood screw for your enter manoeuvres. And then you have R, which is removing the posterior arm, or R, the other R, because there's two R's, is rolling the woman over. Okay, so if we go ahead here with a shoulder dystocia, so when the woman is birthing and the head is born and you notice the turtling sign, that is the first indicator that will show, so the baby is born and then the head withdraws back in. This is a classic turtling sign. This is your first indicator that the shoulder is stuck in behind the pubic bone. Okay, so you would call for help straight away. Instantly you would evaluate for an episiotomy and wonder whether you would need one. At this point I would say, no, I'm not going to try for an episiotomy right now. I might change her position straight away. I've called for help. What I would do is I would actually put her legs straight away into the McRoberts manoeuvre. So I'd actually flatten the bed and I would bring her legs up, so I'd bring her knees up to her nipples. If I've got someone in the room to help me, I would actually get them to help me manoeuvre her legs up into that position. And if that allows the shoulder to be free, then the head can be born, the baby can be born without any problems. Okay, so that's actually not worked for me. So the next manoeuvre I'm going to try is the suprapubic pressure, which is Rubens 1. Now you have 30 seconds for all your manoeuvres. Using the heel of the hand, you're actually going to apply pressure to the shoulder to try and dislodge the shoulder from under the pubic bone. Now you can apply constant pressure, while the accoucheur might be just applying gentle traction to the baby's head. Gentle pressure to see if you can dislodge. If that doesn't work, then you could actually apply some gentle rocking to see if that would work. That's not working, baby's head's not coming, so then you would next go to your next manoeuvre, which is the first of your enter manoeuvres. So this is Rubens 2. Rubens 2, you're actually going to place 2 fingers on the posterior aspect of the anterior shoulder. What you're going to try and do with these fingers is you're going to pop them onto the back of the baby's shoulder, and you're going to try and dislodge from under the pubic bone by putting pressure on the back and pushing it forward. So you would evaluate at this point for an episiotomy again if you haven't got enough room to get your fingers in. So I'm popping my fingers in, I'm placing them on the back of the baby's shoulder there, so the posterior aspect of the anterior shoulder, and I'm trying to push this, to the left, to the right, and trying to dislodge that shoulder, and that's actually not working for me. Okay, so 30 seconds for that manoeuvre. What I would now do is I would move to my second enter manoeuvre, which is the wood screw, and I would place 2 fingers on the anterior aspect of the posterior shoulder. So I'd once again evaluate for an episiotomy, do I have enough room to get these fingers in? And then I'm going to place the 2 fingers on the anterior aspect of the posterior shoulder. And in this instance, I've got 2 fingers and I'm trying to twist the baby essentially, hence the name wood screw. And I'm trying to twist the baby out from underneath the bone, okay? If that's not working, then there's 2 ways to do this. You can slide your fingers from that position and reverse it to do a reverse wood screw, or you can remove, remove those fingers, slide that finger up, and try and push on the anterior aspect of the anterior shoulder to try and twist backwards. Okay, so doing the reverse wood screw. Okay, now if that's not working, we're then going to try for the removing the posterior arm. So for the removing the posterior arm, we're going to run down the arm to find the cubital fossa. We're going to splint the baby's arm. We're going to bring it up across the baby's chest, across the baby's face, and remove the posterior arm and bring the baby up. Now you will already have, hopefully, a paediatrician in the room. The baby may require some resus depending on how long the manoeuvres have taken to get the baby out. The woman's more at risk of having a PPH, with having a shoulder dystocia as well. So you would need to, one, have somebody help you with managing the baby, and someone help you with managing third stage as well. Okay,